you know, I'm just thinking about like people who are, you know, essentially stuck in a small town where, you know, they can interact with maybe five men in their local surroundings. Maybe, you know, for them, they might have a very general idea of what men are like in that place. However, if
That's
they
so
move
true.
abroad, you know, then they get an experience like, wait a minute, not everybody's like this,
Oh
right?
my,
So
oh my.
travel actually expands that and expands your
Travel
consciousness.
expands your masculinity.
Yeah.
Shit.
Welcome to the Better Man Podcast with Ivan and Suman. This podcast is all about how to be an optimal, conscious male in today's society. Join Ivan and Suman as they go deep into the rabbit hole of personal growth, mindset, social dynamics, and spirituality. Are you ready to be a better man?
And we are live.
What's going on, everybody? To the Better Man Podcast.
Let's get it.
Yo,
Yeah.
we got the
London on the track.
we got Plant front row. We got Singing Bowl front row.
Drippy.
They're experiencing this whole event as you are experiencing it right now. We got water right in front of us. I swear, after I drink this water, me and Bosumet are gonna share this water because this experience is holy. I want you to get that what's going on right now is holy. It's not something that goes in vain. We're here to present you with literally $1,000 worth podcasts for free. In terms of knowledge, in terms of tools,
You can have it.
we're giving it to you for free. You know why we're giving it to you for free? Because we know you're not going to do nothing with it unless you pay. People don't like free. People actually don't like free. They think they like free. They don't like free. That's why people hire me, because I help them get through it. I'm like, I've been giving you this free content for months. People are like, yo, man, can I, what's going on with the book or whatever.
If they're stuck in scarcity, like if they're in the, like I was watching this thing on Gaia the other day. It's like the abundance code, and apparently, like a lot of people like are still stuck in scarcity, even like when they're children. So you know the game that we play as children, like musical chairs.
Yeah. Oh.
It's like a competition, right? It's like, I'll take the chair, you know, and leave the kids out. It's
Not
like
enough chairs.
there's not enough chairs.
Breaking the piñata.
Breaking the pinata.
The
All
candy.
these kids games, it gets conditioned from such a young age, guys. Like honestly, like this thing goes way deeper than you think. And so basically it's going to impact you in ways that you might not be sure of. In the way that I mean that, I mean it's a subconscious effect. And also, as I've learned from a lot of tools out there, that you know the mind and the body are connected, they're the same. And it's basically the body is the
What happened
subconscious
to you the
mind.
other day, bro? What happened to you the other day? Because I think it's really important that you mention.
What happened to me the other day?
Yeah.
In terms of what?
Whenever we were shooting the music video.
Right.
You said I'm too much in my.
Right. So we were shooting a music video for my new song Splash Splash Drip Drip, and essentially, I got to a point where I was like, man, I have a lot of drip on. Like, I'm not sure what people are gonna think of me. Like, is this okay to do in India? Like, all these random just like thoughts, like anxious thoughts came into my mind. And then Ivan was like, oh yeah, I said, I'm in my head. And Ivan was like, bro, you're in your mind, and the mind and the body are the same. Right. So that really sparked something in me.
It was something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And then I just went ahead and I just did it. Like I asked this guy, like, if we can use his Porsche to shoot on, like
Mhm.
it went really swell from there.
Yeah, man. But I want you to really share that experience. Like it was magical. Like I want you to really like know that that whole experience was just perfect for us.
Mhm. Yeah.
Enough to challenge us and enough to make us want a really big reward.
Right. It's like alignment requires challenge, you know? Like if you're not challenged by it, if you're not pushed by it, you can't really truly get into the like the way that you want it to go, essentially.
And I feel like that's sort of the problem with men and women
Mm.
in this day. So really the main topic, you know, as the title says, stop trying to be independent. Men need women and women need men. There's like two separate movements. One of men going, I'm independent. Men don't need women. I'm just doing my own thing. And then another movement of women going, I don't need a man. I'm independent. Could do this all by myself.
Mm.
You're both stupid. You're both stupid.
It's two extremes, right? So if you think about
Exactly.
any extremes, it's like it's not the full musical, you know, musical score. It's just a single note. So it's like for instance, a great movement, like someone like let's say
Movement?
Moses, right? Moses had a great movement, right? But he was a single note. He was a reflection. But take someone like, for instance, Krishna, or take someone like Buddha, right? That I feel like Buddha was more of like, uh, how would I describe this? Like a harmony or a symphony.
Bro, I don't
You
think
get what I mean?
everything that you just said made no correlation to me.
Okay.
At least.
Okay, so let me try and explain myself.
So I had just finished by saying that both sides, you said it's two extremes, and then you started going into one note and like a harmony, and it was so confusing. Do you know? Does it make sense to you now?
Yeah. So,
Bro.
so essentially, what I meant to say by that is like, you know, we need some kind of like calculation, but not too much, right? When we go to the extremes, it starts to become very, very general, and that's what I meant by like single note. It's very broad.
Yeah,
it's very general.
But then you brought
so,
in Moses. You said Moses.
I was just trying to use him as an example.
Yeah,
I don't think I could, but
you just
yeah.
So essentially you just used his name, but you like used it like out of context from history. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's sort of what it seemed happened. Because I mean, I don't know what came to your mind when you said Moses is like one single note.
Honestly, it was like something that Osho had stated a really long time ago.
Really?
Yeah, where he was speaking about like these great leaders, like, and some of them being multidimensional, like they can do a lot of things. They represent a lot of things and values, and they represent harmony. And there's certain people in the world that just represent one idea. And oftentimes that one idea can be a poisonous idea as well. Not saying Moses, obviously.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like some
Totally, bro.
like extremism is like this just one idea. It's so general, and it's like doesn't.
I see what you're saying. Like Krishna is like a man and a god, and
Yeah.
or like different. Like the monkey god is like every like he's like 20 different other gods or 100 other kind of gods. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay,
Right.
so why are we saying that you should stop trying to be independent? Well, you know, I meet a lot of men, and I know of a lot of men who struggle finding ideal relationships. Now, you know, how do you know when someone's right for you? And that's very simple. It's very, very simple. How I was explaining it to Zoom from my experience earlier before we started shooting, we said that until you really know your purpose here on earth, your path is so much more general. right? You're going in the general right direction. You know what I mean? So like, let's just say, I'll give you the context of my life. I was an actor for like 8 years actor experience. I also had a lot of soccer experience, film, like directing and own films and stuff like that, and learned to edit on my phone, and like played on like 3 soccer teams when I was like 12 or 13. Like playing on a school team, a men's league, and a first division team. Right now, these are, I'm just giving you some accomplishments in some general area of like where I wanted my life to move, right? Because it was my life path, right? And that's a general direction. So now I know my real path, right? My real path is to open up consciousness, open up minds, break ideas, kill egos, murder your ego. I'm here to murder your ego, all right? And then just be reborn. Like, I'm not just trying to kill you. I'm also trying to rebirth you.
Yeah.
So I'm getting
trying
an
to
interview.
rebirth you up in here.
I'm doing an interview, right? Somebody's interviewing me soon. And I gave a little bio, and I was like, I'm a mother and a father, right? I don't have to have physical kids to be a mother and a father. Do you realize that? You don't have to be a certain age to be a mother and a father. A mother and a father are energetic beingness that you take on. It's a fucking frequency, y'all. Bitch, I go like, what? Frequencies? Mama and Papa's a frequency.
Wait a minute.
It's like telling me, it's like telling me if you adopt a kid that you couldn't have kids, and you adopt a kid that you're not really a parent. Right? And then it's also like saying, well, if you can't afford to take care of your kid, well, then you're also not a parent. Right?
Yeah.
You can't say it's just, we're all fathers and mothers, y'all. We're literally all fathers and mothers.
We're all dads, we're all moms.
Because we're the masculine and we're the feminine.
Yeah.
We're the masculine and the feminine together.
And the masculine and feminine need harmony. But what we're choosing to do in culture is to separate from each other and say that, okay, we can do this on our own. And essentially that might work temporarily to distance yourself. I mean, of course, it's important to give each other space and time to grow and nurture each other. But at the same time, if we split too far apart in terms of our genders, it's just going to cause a disharmony or a disbalance in terms of how we interact with each other. Because the men and women, they have different language patterns and the way that we speak. Me and Ivan were having a straight up conversation the other day by just grunting, right? We're just like,
I was I had a fruit bowl in my hand, and I was like,
and I was like,
and someone's like, yeah, exactly.
And that's how men communicate sometimes. It's difficult to understand that. But even women, they have their girl coding, right? They look at each other like, oh my God, I got this guy away from me right now. Like
they communicate more with their eyes.
For
sure. They communicate more with their eyes.
Yeah.
Factoid. Look for the eyes, aim for the eyes. The eyes are the target, guys. Don't check out her body, just look at her eyes. I'm telling you, if you want to get the girl, don't check her out. Just look at her eyes.
Eye contact. That's key.
But don't stare at her.
Yeah,
but look. Don't stare, but look. Don't stare, but look. You got it? Put that in your arsenal.
Yeah, don't super glue your eyes onto her. That's not cool.
Yo, what you said really sparked an idea. so the way that the conversation transitioned from speaking about purpose and from speaking about masculine and feminine energy within ourselves is how I say you have to find the people who are perfect for you, right? You take what's your purpose, right? What is your aim and why are you existing? Oh, really? You're existing to work at Target. You're existing to work at Walmart. You're existing to work at Amazon. You're existing to work to be packaging burgers in McDonald's. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that was your whole life. That was your life purpose. You see how absurd it sounds? We have to be aiming for something much, much, much greater. 10 times that which we are doing now.
Mm. But also, it's important to acknowledge that we do need those people working at Target. You know,
No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we
don't have Target.
No, we actually wouldn't. We actually don't. That's actually a misconception.
Explain.
I'm not thinking of the world like 10, 20 years from now. I'm thinking millennia.
Okay.
Right?
That makes sense.
Let's just say every single person's consciousness raised to the level of intelligence, like not the level of boredom or contentment or anger or depression, right? There's so much depression right now. So you see that there's work to be done. Anyway, if everyone literally was in just the level of like, let's just say Elon Musk, if everyone vibrated the way Elon Musk does, and which they will in like hundreds of years from now, that like why would someone who vibrates at that level want to be packaging burgers? It's like that episode of Rick and Morty when Rick is like, for real, it's like when there's like Ricks working basic jobs and shit when they could have been working other stuff, and they feel degraded of their intelligence, of their beingness. I could be doing so much more right now. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean.
Yeah. I think it's also important to understand that both the genders have their own shadow sides, right? It's like, yeah, it's not really toxic masculinity. Okay, it's shadow masculinity. You get what I'm saying? Like, like it's not toxic femininity. It's just, it's like shadow femininity.
Bro, yeah. So good. It's dark femininity. It's dark masculinity. They're not bad. I want you to get that idea out of your head that black is bad and good is white.
Yeah.
Why do you think people look sexy when they wear all black? Why do you think they look sexy when they wear all white? Ooh. I got you there.
That's an interesting perspective.
Bro, right? What the hell? Fashion is so conscious. That's why I love fashion.
Don't give them hell, give them consciousness. You see, we can all talk about like how men are trash or women are crazy, but
anytime somebody says that, they're blacklisted on my mind. I'm serious, bro, because I'm like, really, all of them? If your experience is all of them, there's something wrong with you, man.
Yeah, it's like men always do this. It's like, huh? How many men have you spoken to? Like everybody in the world? Like, goddamn. That's a lot.
It's like, no, just everyone from my world.
Wow. You know, I'm just thinking about like people who are, you know, essentially stuck in a small town where, you know, they can interact with maybe 5 men in their local surroundings. Maybe, you know, for them, they might have a very general idea of what men are like in that place. However, if they move abroad, you know, then they get an experience like, wait a minute, not everybody's like this.
Oh my.
So travel actually expands that and expands.
Travel expands your masculinity. Shit. Yeah. It's so true. Wow. Travel expands your beingness. Like, I would say someone has a higher vibration. I'm not saying they'd be more worthy. I'm saying they'd have a higher vibration if they travel, right? Because actually, we're all equal, but we're not the same. You got that? We're equal, but we're not the same.
Man, if you think about travel, actually, it's both masculine and feminine. Because it's like feminine in the quality of like exploration.
You're
like,
exploring the feminine, bro. You're literally, because you're traveling, that's the unknown.
Unknown, yeah.
The feminine energy is the unknown.
Yeah. And then, but it's still traveling, so you're still going towards a specific direction, right? You're still on your path.
Yeah.
So it's like both. That's a great analogy, actually. Travel one.
Right? Yeah. Bro, I just pictured like a boat in an ocean, and it's just like a really like dark hole, and it's just like going into the dark hole. Oh wait, shit. Oh, we go into dark holes all the time. See, this is what masculine. So I realized this a while back that like.
Is that an innuendo? Like,
we're getting there. Okay. So the word masculine, we take the word man, because not the whole word, but just a little bit of the word masculine. Why? Because men have more masculinity in them. Their bodies are made for more masculine things, right?
Yeah.
Like being a lumberjack, right? For like, we're not built for the world we live in now. We're built for living in forests. You got that? We're built for living in forests. So Mother Nature didn't create, or God, which is just another version of Mother Nature is just another version of God, basically, right? God's not another version of Mother Nature, though. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. Mother Nature was like, okay, so we can't have both species, like do both. Like you can't be like having a baby and also having to fight a lion, and also having to fight monkeys, and also having to fight snakes, and also having to fight other tribes, and also having to fight like everything else, right? So we were biologically made, which means our body. Biology is the study of life, right? We're studying life, we're explaining life. Biology said we need to be different so one of them can have the kid and one of them can protect the kid, right? So I want you to see this here. It's man, woman protecting the kid, for the kid, right? And then the kid is made and he finds another woman and they're all trying to protect the kid, right? So what's really going on is a genetic war. It's not a war. I just call it a war. It's just like the survival of your genes. You want the survival of your species, right? That's what we want. So our bodies and our brains and our gut and our chest and our butts and our hips and our knees and our thighs and our feet and our hands.
They're like apps on your iPhone.
They're like apps on your iPhone.
Each has its own, thing that it can do, essentially.
But they're different for the woman and they're different for the man, with purpose, right? So when men separate themselves from women, right? So what I was explaining to my girlfriend was that if a man has women, he is more powerful if he has to take care of them, right?
Because he feels more like a man in that moment as well, right?
He literally feels
like he's being
more okay with life.
Yeah.
So like this is what we have to understand. Men feel an ease from being around women, right?
Yeah.
It softens them. Literally.
Softens
literally.
Them, and it also I feel like it also recharges them, like it replenishes their energy. Because when I'm around feminine energy, I just get so inspired. I'm just like, oh snap, like I want to create something, and that's where the concept of the muse comes in a lot of, ancient texts. They would have the muse, or like the one beautiful woman that they would like get inspired by to create art.
Yeah, that's so true. Like we see mainly paintings of women and less paintings of men.
Yeah.
Right?
No one wants to see naked dudes as well.
Yeah, man. Get your dick out of here, bro. I don't want to see your dick. But then they show the woman fully naked. And I was like, wow,
so elegant.
Right? It's like more people watch beauty pageants than people who watch like bodybuilder, like or like Mr. America. Who the fuck is Mr. America? You've never heard of them. It's a real thing, but you've never heard of them. Yo, we got one viewer. What's going on, man? Or woman?
Woman.
Human. Oh,
right.
Yeah, so for me, I personally feel like 3 girlfriends is enough for me. Right? What is enough? You have to know what your enough is. And for me, I know my energy. You have to know you literally have to know your energy from so many different angles. Right? I've had to learn my life purpose through so many different angles and so many different ways of describing it. Numerology, astrology, through things like leadership tests and personality tests and all that sorts of thing. The more things that you do that can describe the more you're able to describe yourself, the more you understand yourself, the more on path on your life purpose you will be.
Bro, you've got to know yourself, because you've got to know yourself.
How though?
In order to love yourself. Because try loving someone that you don't know. I mean, maybe love on first sight, whatever. Like,
is that the job?
But then again, it's like, you don't know them. Is it possible to love them?
Love is the path. There is no path to love. Love is the path.
Man, you just transformed the whole show right there, right in front of me. Shit.
Hey, you experienced it. You experienced it on YouTube too. Yo, what time do we start? It should say right here. I need to know. Oh, 21 minutes? Cool. 21. Young Savage, why you trapping so hard?
21.
Why you got a 12-car garage?
21.
Why you got a 12-car garage?
Yeah.
Why you got a 12-car? Why you got a 12-car garage? Hey. Why you got a 12-car garage? Hey. Why you gotta pop? Yeah. Why you gotta yada pop?
Yeah.
Live, bro. Live. Yo, we didn't even coordinate that. Like, we just tapped into creativity.
Tapped into source energy.
That's what's going on right now. Whenever I do things like these, I feel so good.
Because we're channeling from something. We don't know where it's coming from.
I feel like it's just me on my purpose. Like, the more on purpose something is for you, the more good it feels when you do it.
Yeah. It reminds me of actually, I had a podcast last night. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, but it was a great talk about, the purpose, on how you can transform your pain into your purpose. Because sometimes we go through a lot in life and, it completely shatters us. But through that healing process, it's like we get more of an understanding of where to go and where to take it. Similarly, a lot of coaches listening right now, or maybe you're a practitioner who's out there to help and serve the community in some way. Let me just state that, if you are trying to connect with people, you want to be on your path by truly allowing yourself to heal yourself. If you take a lot of psychologists as well, myself included, it's very evident that we got into psychology because we wanted to understand people and understand our own minds. So similarly to someone who is maybe studying marketing, maybe they had an issue with marketing themselves. Or maybe someone who is a graphic designer were told that they couldn't draw at a very young age. So through our triggers, we actually grow. It's actually a blessing. Your triggers are actually a blessing, because it's giving you signposts, it's giving you guidelines. And people close to you are just going to give you those little bit of guidelines, like suggestions. But guess what? They're not a business executive like producer that you need in order for you to get into your business executive movie. All right. So I don't know what the example that was, but anyway.
Bro, I don't know why, man. You were channeling Joe Nicasio right there, bro.
Yeah, Joe, if you're listening right now, I channeled you.
Bro, you went slightly bald for a second, bro.
For a second.
Are you a bit chubbier? You look a bit chubbier.
Oh no!
I think you channeled him a bit too much, man.
We're just kidding, Joe.
Joe, we love you. Joe. We love you, Joe. We actually love you. All right, but we're not gonna stroke your cock for too long. We're gonna get back to this podcast.
All right.
So honestly, I really like the way this conversation flowed.
Yeah.
Because it went from what's going on in the world right now, explaining the genders and explaining the energies and why we need each other, and then it went to like how to find your right partner, and then we said it was like your purpose and things like that, and then we went and go to describe how people can know how to find out what their purpose is.
Yeah, and then it went to 21.
No, Savage, why are you trapping so hard?
Yeah.
Why you good? Yo, we look really good on this camera in terms of colors. But on this camera over here, we look a bit more.
I would disagree, man. I don't know.
You like these colors better?
Yeah, because this one is kind of flickering, I feel.
I know that's what's wrong with it. Yeah. But the colors, though, is what I was talking about.
Yeah, the colors are nice.
Yo, who's watching right now? Whoever you are, you're worthy. You are loved. You are appreciated. You are loved.
You are loved, you're worthy, you're appreciated.
You're loved, you're loved, you're loved, and you're worthy of love, and you've always been worthy of love. And you're gone because we gave you too much love. You didn't believe you were worthy of love.
That's unfortunate. Oh, man. But there's a influx and overflow of love always happening, but it's just that we sort of keep these horse blinders on where we can't see all of it. We just see love in a very particular space or in a very particular area. But yo, this is love, this is love, this is love, this is love, you know? So we got to align with the fact that everything does stem from that energy. And, you know, if we start to understand that we are love and light, like that is who you are. You are love and light. It's weird to think about, right? It's like, oh shit, I'm love and light? Really?
I feel so good. Oh, you know what? Something I forgot to explain was that, yeah, so like when you're younger, all the people that you were with, they're like they're okay for you. You know what I mean? They're not like super on point for you, right? Because your life objective up until that point was more general. It was like live, like have fun. It was like
you're being taken care of as well.
It was like survive, have fun, and
man, I know growing up that like I
just want to finish this thought real quick before I forget it. So the people that you're gonna find now in your future, now that you know how to find your path, and you live on that path, look for people who are living on that path too. Yeah. Right? Who are trying to serve the same purpose on earth that you are trying to. You know, we're not just humans. You know, we're not just humans.
Two Sumeds are better than one.
We're souls. We're not humans. We're souls. We're gods. You know, we're co-creators. We're not just humans. We're co-creators. We're not just humans. We are divine energy. We're not just humans. We are channelers. We are source. We are source. We are the field.
We are the vortex.
We're the vortex. Exactly. We're not just humans. So Zuma's going to tell us about his story when he was a kid.
Well, I've just noticed that, you know, growing up, there was a lot of like instances of growing up in my household where I've noticed like I would have this mentality of self-sacrifice, right? It's like, you know, sacrifice everything, give to your family kind of thing. So it never really like truly allowed me to step into my full independence until much later. And this is very unconscious, I started to notice. It wasn't very like straightforward, but there was an underlying tone of that where you have to follow a specific path. And I'm sure a lot of you guys listening right now feel a similar way. Maybe your parents are telling you, you've got to do a particular degree or something. You're being pushed into a life that you don't want. But, you know, that isn't really going to serve you in the long term. Like you are going to come to a point where you reach a threshold and you're going to be like, man, why did I do this? Right? So if you have the choice now to start in terms of aligning to your dreams, go for it right now. Don't wait 17 years down the line. Like everybody always creates life based on like, it's going to happen. Or like, yeah, I'm going to plan for it, but it's going to happen really long into the future. And we keep like sending it to the future and projecting it into the future rather than actually aligning with it much faster. Like we can actually work towards manifesting things a lot faster if we're in a higher vibration. But the problem with humanity is
they don't even know they're a vibration.
Yeah.
They don't even know they have their own specific frequency, their own specific energy that they're vibrating at. They don't know.
Right.
That's step number 1, awareness.
Yeah, and a lot of people who maybe they know about sound being vibration from a scientific angle, right? But they don't understand it from the space of like, that it's, it's just a wave. It's an undulating wave. Like I'm a waveform, you are a waveform, And so when you're not looking at me, I'm a waveform, bro. I'm existing in your thoughts. I'm existing in your mind. So you as a person are a waveform. And like, if you're thinking about someone right now that you really care about, they're also a waveform, right? And what is their frequency? How do they hold themselves? According to that, that's how their waveform is going to function out in the world. And, if you can truly understand that we are not these physical bodies, we're not these dense meat suits, covered with all this bacteria and shit.
Bro,
like
we're built from bacteria, bro.
Yeah,
we're built from bacteria. It's just wild. Yo, it's even more wild for me to look at Zoom and then look at him.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
Because I'm focused right here. All my attention is like narrowed on it. Yeah. And suddenly, like,
shit.
Yeah, suddenly,
it's right next to me.
Suddenly, you become really like. Before, the perspective was from a distance, now the perspective is from much closer, right? So you become like if you popped into the astral field.
If I popped into the astral field, what do you mean?
Yeah, you popped into the astral.
Like, I'm there. You're there now, in fact, as well. Bro, what is that thing on your, like...
Mate, I have no
clue. What? There's like a little logo.
It looks like a fucking
on the Facebook,
like a fun alien, right?
It looks like alien bacteria, actually. To be honest. Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh. So, Sum, I think you have a very interesting story. When it comes to your recent breakup, right? And how it just kind of goes to tell us about change and evolution and letting go and finding the right partner for you, you the viewer, you the listener, right? So, you still, this is something, I'm sure you're okay with this because you're strong and you're self-accepting. Asum said, I still care about her.
Yeah.
Right? Even though we broke up and we're really not for each other. We're really, really not for each other. We fight too much. We're too opposite. Right? We're too opposite. Like you should find someone who's energetically the puzzle for you, which looks like the opposite, but it's not the opposite. It's more like a puzzle piece. Right?
Yeah, and that's not to say that people can't change, but at the same time,
I'm saying that people constantly change.
Yeah.
So when you got with her, you were a different person than you were like all those months later.
True.
So it was just only right to just end it.
Yeah, and also we were we were apart from each other. There's a lot of long distance involved in that, and after a while, it just seems like, you need that person to be close to you again.
I think if that's your only girlfriend, that is tough.
Yeah.
If Pamela was my only girlfriend, hell, she would not be my girlfriend anymore. Like if I'm self-aware enough to know and say that, yeah, if I only had one girlfriend and I could only date one girl.
And that's why it's been getting me to wonder about, having multiple girlfriends, because it's just an understanding, it's like
it's more ideal for both people.
Yeah. And it's not like, it's like a spoken contract, but it's also an unspoken contract. You get what I mean? Like you talk about it.
Yeah,
but then again, it's
the
like
people don't know what that means.
So for instance, like when you get into a relationship, if you don't set any boundaries, I've learned this the hard way, that basically the other person will just poke you and prod you until you like just tolerate it, right? And they will get
they don't know they're poking you.
Yeah.
To them, they're just being themselves. You're the one that's being poked because of who you are. What's considered a poke to you, right? What's considered disrespectful to you is different than what's disrespectful to somebody else.
Right. Exactly. So, someone, helping you to tap into your childhood wounds or whatever, like they're not doing it consciously sometimes. They're doing it very unconsciously. So if you can bring that up with them and talk about it in a more open way, then it really, you understand a contract between each other. It's like, it's like signing an agreement. It's like, I don't like it when you bring this up. Like, I'm going to get angry when you do this thing. Just so you know that, like, it's okay if you do it, but I will react this certain way. So that's a contract, right? That's just a rule in terms of, understanding like their perspective and your perspective and how you can create a bridge between that. And so you can walk over it and you have certain boundaries and borders that you just won't tolerate as well.
Bro, I'm not going to lie, bro. I got to be honest with you, but I think you're going to benefit a lot from this, right? Yeah. I think you're really going to benefit a lot from this truth, right? Your videos are going to skyrocket. Your fucking, engagement is going to skyrocket, because you're actually a really smart guy, right? But when you explain things, they don't make sense.
Maybe it doesn't make sense to you.
No, exactly though. But if I can't understand it, like, what are you trying to reach? 10 people who can get it?
Right.
Right? So if you're able to explain things in a much more simplified, step-by-step, linear way, then I think you'll get more views.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't water down a lot of my content. I noticed that. I sort of
No, I know. I don't think it's that. I think it's that you don't bridge things together. I think it's the way that you're bridging one thought to the other. You're sort of like something happened in your mind and you and you heard it and you know what that thought was, but you thought about it so fast that you forgot to mention it into the outside world and you just jumped to the next one. It's sort of like you skipped one thought.
It's like I skipped timelines.
Yeah, bro. Exactly.
Parallel universe.
Bro. You literally just jumped timelines in your own head.
Yeah, I tend to do that sometimes. No cap.
All right, do you guys see how I gave Sumed really good but tough advice? Right? Like, just imagine if I would have told you, bro, like you're not getting any views because you suck or whatever, right?
Yeah. That wouldn't be constructive at all. Like, it would just be like, all right, I guess so.
I had to paint a contrasting statement, right? Where first I said the good things about Zoom, right? And then next I set up a mutual goal, right? So whenever I said, I think this is something that's going to get your viewers up, your engagement up, right? That's something that Zoom would like, right? So I created a mutual goal. So then the goal for me was for him to hear and for me to say what it was, and that's the same goal from the different perspective, right? And then I told Zoom what it was, right? And then after he suggested I don't water my content at all, right? Or he was rationalizing basically, right? You said, yeah, you don't understand it. You
yeah,
said, yeah, you don't understand it, right? And I was like, yeah, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Like, so he was rationalizing there, but I didn't stop, right? You know, I still listened to him, right? And because I listened to him, I was able to give him a better answer that would have benefited him instead of saying, he doesn't get it, right? So listening is more important than what you say. No. Listening affects the way that you say what you're going to say and what you say, right? If you didn't listen, you won't get the next knowledge to give a better answer.
Right.
That's how we communicate, right? With ease and with respect. And getting the goal that we wanted, because I got the goal that I wanted was to tell Soom the way that he can improve himself, right? Because it also improves this podcast,
right? So let me try and simplify this down, okay? When I talk about contract, right, it's like an agreement between two people, right? So we agree on something, we disagree on some things. And that's a part of that contract.
And so you're saying you also, let me see if I get this right. Like, you're saying that you also agree to the disagreements.
Yes. Yeah. So it's just one big agreement. Bro, just what is fun though. Yeah. Let's agree to disagree. Anyway. So basically, if you think about like 50 Shades of Grey, and I know a lot of older women read this book, and younger women, I'm sure as well, because it's so kinky and descriptive. But besides that point, I mean, in that book, in that movie, there is this talk of like a contract, right, with Mr. Grey and this woman. And in this day and age, where we're bringing up such important topics, but also it might be very misunderstood, let's say, in terms of consent, in terms of toxic femininity, masculinity, in terms of people not being able to understand
there's
each
toxic
other.
Versions of both.
Yeah,
there's toxic versions of both, and there's healing versions of both.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you think about the idea of like setting up a rule, like for instance, let's say you have a safe word during sex or some shit, right? That's it's like a spoken about contract or a rule or an agreement. It's also unspoken.
So what do you mean by the unspoken part? Like once you speak about it, you don't have to speak about it anymore? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can always bring it up, but it's not
I certainly think that there are certain rules that I have for my life that are just like, this is a rule. This is a must, right? This is a must, right? Especially for relationships. I'm like, I'm going to be with you for how many years? Oh, we're going to aim for as long as I live. All right, cool. Right. Well, there's certain things that are musts right now. Certain things I'm like, but other things are like must, right? So I will ask the girl questions that will reveal her personality to me. Right? Yeah. And when I ask her questions, I'll say, what do you think about this? Oh yeah, what do you think about this? Right? And I'll say it in a way where I'm not attached to what I'm saying, right? Even though I am like looking for a specific answer that I would like, right? But if it's not that answer, I'm totally cool with it not being that answer. And it's not gonna get any serious in a certain point.
Guys, I learned this from a dating coach a little while back, but this is just a hack. This is a life hack, quick life hack that I want to give you guys. Ask a woman what her favorite movie is of all time.
Oh yeah.
Because she unconsciously relates with the main character.
She's like, I like that 9/11 conspiracy theory, JFK. JFK conspiracy theory film.
It says a lot about her subconscious mind, right? So it might not be directly proportional to the movie, but on a hidden level, there's something going on with her understanding of the world, by how she wants to be, by, you know, let's say a girl likes Devil Wears Prada, right? And she unconsciously wants to be Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway, right? Isn't that movie? Or who was that?
Yeah,
Julia Roberts? No.
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway? Yeah. Yeah, she unconsciously wants to be that character that Anne Hathaway is playing in that movie. So that's just a quick question, right? It's just very...
You know which one also really good? What's your favorite animal?
Yeah.
Right? Whatever answer the girls give, they're saying what they like about themselves. Right?
Yeah. And then there's lots of cold reads
another
like this.
Another good one is like, if you were at any body of water.
Body of water, yeah. I was just thinking you were going to bring that up.
Yeah, where were you? Where would you be? What would you do in there? Right? And the way she describes what's happening is the way she would describe, you know, how she likes to have sex.
Yeah.
Right? And look, so if a girl's like, oh yeah, I like to like chill and like dip my feet and shit like that, she's saying like, oh, I'm not like a super sexual person, right? I mean, sometimes I do go and like swim in the creek or whatever. Like let's just say by my house there used to be a what you call not a lake. What do you call it? Like a river like this?
A Nile? I don't know.
A Nile, bro. That's the river. That's the river that runs through Africa, bro. Niggas these days. Let's just say like a river, right?
Yeah, just say river. Yeah, it's just easier for everybody.
And she'll say, "Oh yeah, I just like to dip my feet. Sometimes I like to go in, but very rarely, you know." She's really saying like, this is anybody too. If you ask anyone, a man as well, the way they describe it is how they would have sex. So if she's like, I just dip my feet and I just chill there and like drink. She's saying, oh, I just chill and like let the other person do the work. Right?
I remember when
she's not active in it. And I'm serious, bro. Like I've asked girls these questions first, right? And then like, I don't know, days later, weeks later, I have sex with them. And it describes like that experience, bro.
It's so true, man. I did this one and
someone like, what did you say?
I said jacuzzi because it's bubbly. You know, a girl who's very, very bubbly and like, you know, kind of indirectly proportional to that, but you know, it's kind of like, but it's like hot and bubbly and like chill, you know.
So it's like you like it to be hot. You want to be sweating.
Yeah. Kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want it to be a workout, you know.
You want it to be a workout. Yeah. Shit, he's like abs down.
P90X.
He's like, put your foot right here, right? And you're like, I need to work out my shoulders. You're like, bro, I'm serious, bro. That's a real one. I was at a Barnes and Noble in America. That's a big bookstore, and I found this book that was like, oh, so you don't have time to work out. You don't have time to have sex because you're always busy at work, right? Or you're always busy. Like to do one would be to sacrifice the others. He was like, well, why not do them together, right? And it was like the whole book was like dedicated to sex positions that are workouts.
Yeah, I need that.
Bro, that's trippy though. Just look it up. I'm serious. So this one,
yeah, it's a great one.
This is a really good one. How would you work out your back?
Just like, I guess.
Bro.
It's just hilarious. You're just like so like honed in.
I'm just trying to come up with like moves actually. Neck, work out your neck muscles.
You know what? A lot of women complain that men are not present with them during sex, and a lot of men complain about a woman not being I guess being not as expressive, I guess. Like
Women, did you say men complain about what?
No, women complain about men not being present, like not giving
Present and
focus.
expressive. Okay. Totally true. Yeah. So like when we were on that tour, like, so something women find really sexy is passion.
Yeah.
A passionate man. Woo! They like it. It's lit.
Dios míos.
So this woman, her husband didn't really seem so passionate, right? He lacked that emotion.
Who?
Right? Whenever we were on that walking tour.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Here in India, and that's why she liked that other guy, because he was like more expressive. He was like laughing and joking, having
basically
fun.
this guy was self-deprecating, and that's just, I feel like that's a huge turnoff for
I feel
a lot
like
of women.
I feel like you can do self-deprecating, which is like
in a funny way,
making jokes about yourself, right?
Yeah, it's almost like you're self-deprecating in a way to poke holes in your own ego, a little bit. So you're just like saying, hey, look, like, I'm trustworthy, I'm fun. Like, I can poke fun at myself. I don't take myself too seriously. But if you do it from a level of like insecurity,
I'm not worthy because of this.
People can sense that, right? So I got a sense of that. I'm not too sure if you got a sense of that.
Bro, what I learned recently is that like people can have psychosis is like one of the lowest energy levels, right? It's like
I've been there.
Craziness, right?
I've been there.
No, so the thing is, no, bro, you still there. No, so people are actually like pretty normal in the rest of their life, but there are some areas where they have like psychosis. Like some people who have phobias of dogs, like they'll see a dog and be like, dog, right? Like let's just say all your experiences of life were with like fucked up dogs, and they always attack you every single time. Let's say it happened 10. Look, you know what? Who cares? If you're attacked by a dog 4 times by the time you're 18, bro, like I'd be scared of dogs.
Right. But then there's
well, it has to be like the majority. If the majority of the dogs you ever saw in your life were mean to you and aggressive, then you think dogs are mean and aggressive. So people enter relationships, right? And they're going in with their experience from their old relationships where the other person was just a terrible person, wasn't there to please them, was not good to them. It just was not the best person to be around, or had, maybe they were really good, but they were also like very clingy, and were also very jealous girls, and were also, nag at you, right? Or maybe they were like over dramatic, like really, really over dramatic, and they tested you and they made you do all these crazy things. They made you do all these, they're like, you don't love me and if you don't do this, right? That happens to a lot of us, right? Or a lot of like, maybe you're a dude or you're a woman that was always like just constantly rejected by the person you were with. They just always talked mad smack at you, right?
Yeah, or like her previous boyfriend would tolerate something like that, and then she brings that onto your world, into your universe. Yeah, that happens as well, for sure.
So that happens to us because we have a psychosis of it.
Man, right? You have a psychosis.
I used to have a psychosis about Asian girls, bro.
I mean, I'm just saying, shout out to Alondra. She's not psycho, but psychosis.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I used to have a psychosis from like certain girls. Like I was like, oh, I just got rejected by a lot of white girls. White girls like don't like me, or Asian girls.
Right. We start to form like a thought imprint based on like our experiences. Like, I always had this thing like, black girls don't like me, or whatever. But then
which is not true.
I was with a black girl, like, so
it's like, the way I think about it.
Work. No,
the way I think about it.
That's not true at all. Like, you know what I mean? So once that breaks the stereotype, then you're like, oh shit, okay.
Whenever I hear people say things like that, I think like